On this week's show, we're discussing everything we know about the new Xbox console, everything revealed at this last week's Xbox ID showcase, Amazon games facing some huge layoffs which impact some of their titles, and a Matrix game from the one and only Hideo Kojima. All that and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to your weekly gaming podcast, the GamerGuild Podcast, where we get together and round up all of the week's video game news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV and available up there in the digital clouds on your podcast platform of choice. Just search for the GamerGuild Podcast or GamerGuildTV and you will find us there every Monday, 8 a.m. when this show goes live. Your podcast players for the week are myself, Chris at Arcane Rogue, and the ever-present spooky one, fresh off of Halloween, the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Halloween. At the time of recording.
Yeah, literally, it's All Hallows Eve right now. 8:45, so we're getting close to the business end of it.
Ooh, absolutely, the business hour. No kids trick-or-treating anymore, just dickhead teenagers causing problems and smashing windows.
I had 2 kids trick-or-treat.
I don't know how many, actually. We went out, so I didn't see any at my door. I'm sure I'll check the camera later on in the little stall and everything. But hopefully, we won't have any interruptions for audio listeners. But happy Halloween to anyone who celebrated. Hope you had some fantastic time and didn't get too hyped up on sugar and chocolates out there. And of course, now we've got, in the UK especially, we've got Bonfire Night this week. Remember, the 5th of November. Go watch V for Vendetta, everyone. It's a fantastic movie. And try not to blow Parliament.
The thing is, with Bonfire Night, is no one's quite sure why we need to remember. Is it so politicians are acting dodgy, that they might get blown up? Or is it the fact that he failed? Which is it?
Or is it the fact that Wheatley is a country we get together and celebrate terrorism?
It really what it is a bunch of chavs with bin bags in the form of a person begging for loose change outside of shops. That's what it's about.
I do really appreciate the fact now I haven't carried cash for what feels like years. Yeah. So I genuinely don't even have anything to give them anymore. But,
I feel sorry for the genuine charity people, but when it's just some chav who just wants to go buy some cigarettes or whatever, scratch cards or whatever they're into nowadays.
Absolutely. What did they say? Is it penny for the guy?
Yeah, penny for the guy.
It's supposed to be for charity, yeah. Well, speaking of penny for the guy, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell so you're kept in the loop with all the great content we do here. And if you do want to donate or support the channel that extra little bit further, you can click join down below. We won't take any money and go buy sweets and chocolates. We'll invest it back into the channel. So do click join if you want some early access to some content, because we do have a great show lined up for you all. But specifically speaking of content, Richie, members right now have access to a exclusive playthrough that I've done this week as part of my What I've Been Playing section. I went back and dove into the fantastically wonderful Uncharted 2 Among Thieves this past week, and you'll have noticed...
Quite good game, that one. It's quite good.
Just a little bit, yeah, arguably one of the better in the series. And you'll know because you get updates for our particular channel, but the
yes, for the copyright strikes.
Yeah, it's the theme tune, but the entire series is recorded. It's in the bag. I've completed it already. I'm quite well versed in that game now. I don't have to I can basically work my way through it probably without really even thinking. And I've had some time off this week, so I thought, I know I said on last week's show I'm a bit between games right now. There's nothing that I really want to do, so I thought let's jump into some comfort food, something that I know very, very well, and I know on the channel I've kind of committed to playing them all. So I thought, what better time? Jump in, get a few recordings. Not as long as I actually remember. I think I probably wrapped it up in 6-ish hours, all things said and done.
Yeah, it's quite short if you just power through it, and because you're probably quite good at the game anyway and know exactly what you're doing.
I mean, I wasn't treasure hunting. I did play on normal difficulty. Yeah. I didn't think crushing difficulty or brutal was really, really fitting for it, especially with the fight near the end. But thoroughly enjoyed it. Part 1 is available now for free feeds on YouTube, and members get early access to every episode a week early. So if you're interested in that series, go check it out. And if you're interested in Uncharted in general, I am playing through them chronologically. So we have Uncharted Golden Abyss, which is in the timeline of things, technically the first game, which is the PlayStation Vita exclusive. And then we've got Uncharted Drake's Fortune, which is the first entry in the whole series from Naughty Dog. And now we've got Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. So there's still 3, 4, and Lost Legacy to go.
I need to borrow one of your Vitas and play Golden Abyss.
I've said you can borrow my PlayStation Vita TV if you want to attempt to play on the big screen with a DualShock. Or if you want the comfort of a handheld and not have to faff around with
I think
features.
I want to play it as God intended.
The PlayStation God, Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog. Dog backwards is God, remember? So
Yeah.
God intended. Yeah, there you go.
Bring a new religion every single Monday.
That's what I've been playing. I've not really dabbled into anything else. I've just kind of... I mean, I've spent 6-7 hours on that, which is usually my weekly game a lot of time anyway. Over to you. Anything you've been tickling your fancy this week?
Well, for our members as well, if you have a spare 17 hours, there's an edit of my entire run of Pokemon Blue as a single video up. So
that's a weekend.
That's up there for members. Yeah. I was playing Dragon Quest XI last weekend. Mm-hmm. I really liked that game, but I just wasn't into it. You know when you're just kind of playing, but you're not paying that much attention. Yeah. I know the story. I know I played it through myself on Stadia back in the day. My girlfriend played through it earlier in the year, which is why I have it on PlayStation. So I was like thinking, my thoughts were, play it, enjoy it, maybe go for the platinum. Mm-hmm. But I just, while I was enjoying it, I just wasn't into it. So I decided to change games, and I've decided to. I bought Tales of Symphonia.
Right.
So you know Tales of Arise.
Yeah.
It's in that series again, but it's an older one. So Tales of Arise is the only one in that series I've actually played.
Right.
And I was just going, what do I play? What do I play? And like Googled it. My girlfriend suggested maybe check out one of the Tales games. And Symphonia seems to be one of the biggest suggestions to go for it, so I went for it. I think it's originally a PS3 game.
Right.
So it's quite an old game. Mm-hmm. But I'm having fun. It's good.
That's good.
It's definitely got a bit of old game is old about it. Some of the camera angles in the world map are horrendous.
Yeah.
But the story is interesting. The battle system is kind of a nice bit of a throwback. It still holds up in the sense of it's an old style that you wouldn't really get too much now. Mm-hmm. But it's still quite fun to play. It doesn't feel janky and horrible to play.
Yeah, there's some things you can definitely overlook with that. I found that with Uncharted. It wasn't. I think you said when you went back and played through them in recent years, you said it wasn't as smooth as you'd.
There's more bugs and stuff than you remember.
Yeah, I had a part up in the mountains of Tibet where one of the locations is, and a cutscene starts. You take down a few bad guys, and there's a big gate to the left, and I headed towards the big gate, and the big gate is clearly the end of the map. And he just drops down through the ground and holds onto a ledge. And I'm pretty sure that gate is supposed to be closed. Like, it's a closed-off area that you're not supposed to go to. And I'm thinking, because this is the Blue Point remastered, like, Nathan Drake collection, so you'd think it would have been sorted or patched out, but it's still there. Yeah. It's in the video for when it goes live in part 4 or 5, so you'll see it soon enough. But, yeah, it's interesting how you kind of overlook it and just go, it doesn't bother me. But it did really... There was a few times during the playthrough I thought, we need another remaster of these. I feel like we're ready for the Resident Evil treatment on these bad boys now. You're talking 2007, the first one, so it's getting on 20 years nearly.
Yeah.
Which is wild to say.
The thing is, though, they still do hold up. There's got a bit of jank in there, so I was like, I don't think that if you were going to do it, you could go the whole Resident Evil, give it a full remake. But then I think the games might be a bit too small for that almost.
Yeah.
Or you could remaster it and just polish it again.
Yeah, I think I'd like them to... Because I feel like if Naughty Dog had a hand in it now, I think they would add a few more like story elements in. There's a few things that don't quite flow properly. One of the ones that's, again, spoilers, I guess, for Uncharted 4. It's from 2009, so you've had a while to play it. There's a bit with Flynn at the end where I think his ending, it feels like there's a part missing for his... There's a decision he makes at the end of the game where Lazarevich has done something and he's like, oh, well, I guess this is what happens. And he does a certain act and you think, like, at the end of it all, that wouldn't be what you do in his situation. And I thought, I feel like there was a chunk missing where maybe there's a boss fight with him, and it would have led to him doing what he does. But
they've probably got some like notes on the story and the characters' motivations and stuff, where because you weren't playing as Flynn, and this was kind of at the early days of like narrative taking the forefront in games like Uncharted. It's been there in RPGs and stuff for a long time, but so it's like one of them. Well, you're playing as Nate, so what Flynn's doing off camera, we're just not going to put that in the game.
Yeah.
Where I feel like you could put that in the game now. You could play a section through as him.
Yeah.
And learn more about him. Have a flashback episode of his story. You could pad it out in that way.
Yeah. While
still remaining faithful to the game as is.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to detract from the original one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. So, I'm sure they've got plans for it. Again, the great thing with being gamers is everything will come around eventually. If it's good enough and it's critically acclaimed enough, there's going to be a hunger for it from either a nostalgia standpoint or the industry just can't think of anything new. Or, to be fair, new things tend not to stick as well. So we keep going back to the well, don't we? Just look at it with Halo last week and they just keep going back, trying to start anew.
I feel with Uncharted, we were always shouting for them to go back to the well. It's like, Naughty Dog, we love what you're doing going forward, but please go back to the well.
Yeah.
Like, the well's good.
Yeah.
We want in Uncharted 5.
Especially if it's filled with blue resin.
Or a Lost Legacy 2.
Yeah, or anything. I'd probably happy to take anything, quite obviously from Naughty Dog. It's been 5-6 years nearly already since Last of Us Part 2. So
the Sully Chronicles.
Yeah, why not? PSP exclusive.
Yeah.
Right, Richie, we've got a busy show. We've got some game announcements and some big news stories around hardware, but we can't get into all that until you introduce us to the
graciously gathered GamerGuild Gazette, aka the news.
The news. And as always, the news is brought to you by our wonderful guild heroes, the fantastic folks who support the channel that extra little bit further from as little as 99p. As I mentioned earlier on, you can support the channel. You get early access to Pokemon content, Uncharted 2 content, stickers and badges next to your name in the live chat, and any other things that come up in the future. But more importantly, you support our little 2/4 person team bringing you weekly news and live streams for your viewing pleasure. And of course, on audio feeds for you dirty freeloaders out there. Top news story of the week comes from Microsoft and Xbox, because seemingly our entire news cycle is fueled by Xbox, whether it's them stepping on rakes in their own front garden or it's massive power plays of money being spent to reshape the industry.
I feel like sometimes they put the rakes down, then stand on it and go, who put this rake here?
Yeah. And they go, hang on a minute, it's an Xbox branded rake. I know what I'll do. I'll put it right back on the ground where no one will possibly step on it again. Whack. Ow. This week, this is a huge Xbox report detailing ambitious next-gen consoles with free online play. Reading from the purexbox.com news articles, chatter regarding Microsoft next-gen console has been on the rise recently, with multiple execs, including Xbox President Sarah Bond, coming out and actively talking about future plans of late. Now, though, Windows Central has put out a huge report giving us fresh details on crucial context of what will come from the next generation of Xbox. Reading into it, so I guess via Pure Xbox, via Windows Central, a lot of journalists in the games just kind of copy and paste from each other, don't they? A lot of
one get the article, the others write a report on the article.
One gets the scoop.
Yeah.
So reading from this is after the obviously successful launch of the ROG Xbox Ally. Regarding a home console, though, it's apparently going to feel less like a traditional Xbox and more like a PC. Reading from the Windows Central blog, it says, indeed, the Xbox Ally and Ally X with its full-screen Xbox experience is essentially what the next Xbox is going to look like. The console will differ from a traditional Windows PC, if that's what you look at for traditional Xbox consoles out of the box. However, the onboarding experience will be similar to what you get on a console today. If you choose, you can remain fully inside the Xbox ecosystem, never touching Windows itself. However, exiting out of Windows will be there for anyone who wants to access games traditionally that aren't available on an Xbox, including PlayStation games on Steam, mouse and keyboard support for first-party games like League of Legends, or even classic games from GOG and the like. This is from Jez Corden as well, so quite a successful, reliable journalist, especially on the Xbox Windows front. He has the Xbox 2 podcast as well. He confirms news that the system will have full backwards compatibility with existing Xbox libraries, including the original Xbox, the 360, the One, and the current gen X and S series, and it'll work natively on Xbox's next machine. Current gen games are set to be boosted by new AI-powered technology, which includes super resolution and next gen framing. The kind of big news here is they're aiming for a rumoured 2027 launch, and I think we kind of knew this was coming, Richie, but we never really thought they'd go, I guess, not all out, but I again, you and me have only just had our first physical Xbox was the Series S, and I think it's great. I do think the UI is quite weak when comparing it to the PlayStation or the minimal simplisticness of the Switch.
It's messy. I don't like how things are boots up into the Windows Store. I want a dedicated Xbox Store. I want it clean. I want to be able to find my games simply. There's a lot, I think, of power and customization built into it.
Yeah.
But the whole point of a console experience is ease of use. That's the point of a console.
However, looking at this news, and we've also had stuff from Microsoft's CFO, CEO, I can't remember who it was this week, coming out and saying that the next Xbox is going to be more premium experience. So the way the ground's shaping up is it does look like the next Xbox is going to be more expensive than the PlayStation 6. However, it's going to be cheaper than a premium PC. Obviously, they'll buy the components in bulk, so they'll probably be able to undercut like an equivalent PC cost. However, when you look at the Xbox overlay of the ROG Ally, and the fact that they've leaned so heavily into being multi-platform, multi-compatible across like storefronts and stuff with like the likes of Epic and Steam and such, and including GOG and the like, it does feel like I could see Xbox leaning more into the PC ecosystem. They're losing the console market. They're not seeing the numbers increase. We're seeing a growth in PC players across the board year on year. And I feel like Microsoft they're going to be quite content being a publisher for the most part. But then when it does come to the actual consoles, I can see them just selling like an Xbox branded PC, essentially, and just leaning back into it. Yeah, it looks like. And I don't feel jaded by that. I do think it maybe won't be for me, and I think I'll just defer to playing on PC or cloud. So when like you and me come around thinking like, do I want to purchase the next Xbox console? I look at my PC, I look at cloud, I look at the streaming I can do on my smart TV, which has Xbox streaming. I think, do I need to spend possibly 700, 800, 900 even more pounds on one when I'm quite content with Game Pass and playing them elsewhere?
I feel like it could be a stroke of genius, but could also be the biggest mistake they ever make.
Yeah, once you get out,
because
you're out.
You're running the risk of turning Xbox into basically a PC Lite, where people look at it and go, you know what, the Xbox experience is good, then the PC experience is fine, but you can get a better Xbox and better PC experience by just buying a PC. Mm-hmm. I think they're running that risk, and when they're talking about making it more premium, they're not going to sell as much. I feel they're making a mistake by pushing it to be more premium at this moment in time.
Yeah.
When this Series S tends to outsell the Series X, Series S is the problem in terms of feeling like it's holding back Xbox's generation with the current financial ecosystem and people generally having less disposable income. Mm-hmm. If it goes too high above the PS6, people go to the PS6. Or if you want the PC experience, you go for a PC. And then you got GeForce Now. If you want to have a cheaper PC experience, and you're willing to take it through the cloud. So it feels like there's other alternatives all around where they're potentially pitching this. Yeah. That's where I'm getting worried. Is like, well, if I want a PC, I can buy a PC. Or I could go cloud gaming through GeForce Now. Or I might get a better console experience on PlayStation, and the Xbox first parties on PlayStation anyway.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, where it feels like they're almost like going to put themselves so much in the middle, they don't lean into either camp. Where
they're not as well defined, where they're just like, we're trying to be a jack of all trades kind of thing. You know, a one device fits all solution, then Xbox One kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like. So it feels like they're potentially making similar mistakes.
So thinking of all that considered, then is this Xbox's way of really getting out of the traditional console market? Because let's face it, we had Halo news last week. They are a third-party publisher first and foremost for me now. Anyway, I'm going to buy Halo. I've bought Gears of War. I'm not really a Forza person, but if I was, I'd definitely have it on PlayStation just for the unique element of having it. And just going forward, I don't really see what they've got in the tank that's going to entice me over to ever being an Xbox dedicated player. The wall behind me suggests that's never going to happen anyway. But as we've heard in recent reports, is PlayStation are looking to make the PS6 cheaper than the PS5. and they're not going to go for a massive graphical upheave. It's going to be more like a PS5 Pro almost. They're looking at potential handheld options, which means they'll need to keep that kind of ceiling quite low if they want it to run across a handheld and a home console. The Portal,
I think Sony have learned a lot from the Portal because it is the cheapest in class if you're putting it in the same class as actual dedicated handheld PCs, which technically it isn't, but it serves a similar function.
Yeah,
and it is significantly cheaper and widely loved.
Yeah, it's an interesting time, and I think I don't want to say the nail in the coffin because I think Xbox will exist, but
it's going to be fine.
The Microsoft CEO, Satya Nadella, who she's Phil Spencer's boss, and I think we alluded to it last week that a lot of people have given Phil a lot of shit over the last couple of years for the decisions Xbox are making. But ultimately, the report last week that said about the targets and the numbers and the expectations as to what's led to layoffs and cutbacks and games cancellations. And we always say, like, Phil's a gamer. And I think when you look at some of the comments from the Microsoft CEO, who has more power and say over what Phil and the team at Xbox does, she was speaking to TBPN, who I don't know who they are, at length about the company's future plans when it comes to gaming and whatever the new console might look like and what Microsoft are working on. And she directly mentioned Steam and other competition. But to direct quote her here, Richie, she says, "To us, gaming on Windows and, of course, Steam has built a massive marketplace on top of it, and they've done a very successful job. Now we're the largest publisher after the Activision deal. Therefore, we want to be a fantastic publisher. Similar approach to what we did with Microsoft Office. We want to be everywhere in every platform. We want to make sure, whether it's console, whether it's PC, whether it's mobile, whether it's cloud gaming or TV, we just want to make sure the games are being enjoyed by gamers everywhere." She then moves on to talk about hardware, saying we want to do innovative work on the system side of the console and on PC. And people think about it as a console PC as two different things. But we've built consoles and we've built better PCs. Then they want to revisit some of that traditional and conventional wisdom. Which, if your top dog is talking on that front, I don't think Phil can... The whole argument of like keeping things exclusive, keeping players on Xbox... I think that's gone. It's so far down the road now that there's no going... Like, once Master Chief rocks up on PlayStation next year, there is no putting that genie back in the bottle.
Well, it's the Game Pass problem. As soon as Game Pass came around, everyone, that's amazing value for money. And it's been probably a problem for Microsoft. Probably not a problem for Xbox. Because Xbox is still a profitable company.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not profitable enough for we talked about this last week, where Microsoft's got this arbitrary 30% performance target on like profit.
Yeah.
Xbox is seemingly not profitable enough for Microsoft, so they're getting with the Activision deal. They've lost. It seems like I think they've lost a bit of autonomy because Microsoft invested a lot into Xbox to get that deal over the line.
Yeah.
And Microsoft investors want to see a return on that. And then it just puts Xbox in a difficult situation where I feel like if they stayed the course that they were on at the start of this generation, got the games out that they were bringing out, kept adding value to Game Pass, maybe got out the device I really want, which is a green Portal basically, and then kept that ticking over, I feel they'd end up being in a stronger position going into the next generation. But I feel they're making some late generation changes which are weakening them before they launch the next generation.
Yeah.
It feels like a bit of self-sabotage going on.
I mean, the whole Game Pass price thing, wasn't it? And then the hardware price thing is like...
Yeah.
You're just pissing off your existing fan base
and
a year ahead of asking them to pay hundreds for the next console.
And things like Redfall and stuff were so disappointing at the first half of the generation. And it felt like finally Xbox are starting to deliver. But we still haven't had some big titles like Fable and stuff that have been promised for years come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels like they were starting to get these like cadence of great games coming out. Oblivion, Shadow Drop did really well. Gears, basically almost Shadow Drop, did quite well. It felt like they were starting to get going, and now they're just going, we're just going to sour our reputation with gamers.
Yeah.
Oh, in a year and a half, we're going to launch the next console. And we're like, well, but by this point, it was like, people are still going to be pissed at you and go, I'm just going to see what Sony are doing because your games are going to be there anyway.
Yeah. They've had a great year. Again, like I've probably played more Xbox games in the last year than I have ever in history, and I don't have a problem with them. But we're clued in enough to be aware of like the micro dynamics of the industry and sales and their overall performance. Like if I talk to someone on the high street who just sees Xbox as a promotion, like they don't know how good or bad it's doing. They're just like, oh, it's the next Xbox. So like they have a marketing beat that could absolutely like ride the wave of like Christmas or something or price or success. But without the exclusivity elements, I do wonder sometimes.
Yeah, we could go another way with this. This could be actually Microsoft deciding they want to pull out of Xbox as a console and make Xbox truly into a service, but don't want to actually say that they're doing that and maybe committed to another generation of Xbox being a console, but they're moving it closer to PC. They're probably going to bring out a dedicated handheld. So you're going to have a handheld and a PC, and actually, when you look at that as is Xbox actually a console? You've got a handheld PC and a basic PC with a console installation on it. Is Xbox then, does next generation after that, does the PC thing disappear and Xbox is just a handheld PC?
Or
is this the plan?
Yeah, although we've seen it with ROG, with Asus.
Doubling down, and meanwhile they're doubling down on their efforts as a publisher.
Do you think there's a world
to take
where
that, really cement themselves as the number one publisher while they phase out Xbox? It could happen.
It could. Do you think there's a world where we see a console not manufactured by Microsoft, like Asus or Razer or whoever comes in and just goes, you know what, we'll make it on your behalf. We'll eat all the costs of production and distribution, and you just publish the games and the brand, essentially.
Like they did with the Ally.
Yeah, like if it's just a PC, then is it no different to giving it to Dell or insert random PC company here?
I wouldn't have thought so, because I think consoles typically are a loss leader. So in order to get them down to a certain price, you have to buy so much stock. Like you're asking like Nvidia or AMD to basically mass produce for you exclusively to your specs. That will cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure they'll be wanting to do a third party.
But if it's not a console anymore and it's just a PC, it depending on how component designed it is internally, is just a case of buying a tower chassis that looks like an Xbox and filling it with a top end PC with parts bought en masse, so they should be cheaper. Like it's again, there's so many intricate details that we don't know about. One of the interesting things from these articles that we haven't mentioned yet is, with it being more PC inclined, that means they're looking at ditching any sort of paid online multiplayer. So currently you need Game Pass for online play, but with them leaning PC, just like on Steam, you don't need to pay.
Paid online multiplayer should not be a thing.
Absolutely.
I don't take this as a selling point for the next generation. This is something that they should just do now. Just do it today. Like, it's ridiculous that you have to pay to play online when a lot of games nowadays have online components.
Because we didn't remember the PS3, Xbox 360 era where we just had PlayStation Plus got us free games. We weren't forced to pay for it for online, and they've just they've crunched the numbers and they forced the hand with that one. But yeah, if they're going PC related, then you couldn't ask someone to play it on Steam, but then if you play it on Xbox PC, you have to pay a fee for it. It'd be like, no, you just got to force people towards Steam and Epic and elsewhere. So that kind of solidifies the kind of PC approach. It gives it like almost like an extra layer of structure, doesn't it, to thinking like that might be it.
They're already reducing the entry level for cloud gaming in terms of what Game Pass subscription you need. So I can understand the reason why you want to have cloud gaming a premium experience, because you are basically renting their servers. But I think for online play, that should just be an industry standard. This is free to play. Because a lot of games are free, are online games. So why should you have to pay Xbox a monthly or PlayStation or Nintendo monthly sub to play a game that you've bought?
Yeah, to use your internet, essentially. Yeah, it's like a nominal fee. 2027, we're heading into 2026, Richie. You would presume October, November 2027?
Yeah,
They're going to always aim for Christmas. Outside of Nintendo, I don't think Xbox or PlayStation have ever gone.
I feel like September's a good month. Because if you get maybe August, September, then you have a summer spike in sales as like the first day adopters buy it. But then you also have the Christmas adopters in the same year.
Very true. It's
I know, yeah.
It's just weird thinking ahead that this generation is winding down. Because I look at my PS5.
Feels like it should be winding up.
It just goes back to like studios really only put out a game every 5 years. Like I know we joke about talking about Uncharted. Like Naughty Dog put out 3 Uncharted games on the PS3 and The Last of Us, 4 AAA quality games in the PS3 life cycle. They've so far done nothing on PS5.
I struggle to make a reasonable tech or consumer reason why we need another generation of consoles now. I can see the business sense if sales are starting to plateau. Yeah. But from a consumer sense, the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are amazing pieces of hardware. Yeah. Yes, they're not as good as a gaming PC, but they're never intended to be. Mm-hmm. There's some amazing games coming on, some of the best games that have ever been produced on these consoles. Yeah. Personally, I don't need another one. We needed another Switch. The Switch felt really dated. You look at things like some of the Pokemon games, even things like Tears of Kingdom was stuttery a bit. You could feel the hardware not being as good as it could be.
Yeah.
I don't get that with PlayStation or Xbox.
No. And as you said, the current climate of the world, I would quite happily rather not spend £600, £700 for my hobby anytime soon. Let me have a few years to save and the economy to sort itself out a little bit more.
I'm not sure I will be a day one purchaser of a PS6 like I was a PS5.
I will
because I don't know. It depends what my finances look, how much money I've got in the bank at the time, what the world's looking like, and the launch library. Because if you're not seeing a significant step up, between PS5 and PS6, is it worth the £600-700? Or do you wait until it starts getting platform generation exclusives?
This is where I think we're going to deviate again. And if Xbox are going premium, as they're saying, and PlayStation can get the price back down, but you can get a PS5 now for $450, which doesn't seem unreasonable for a base PS5. I think that's actually really good value for what you get. And if you think an iPhone's $1,000. I'd much rather have a PS5 and a cheaper phone than a top-end iPhone and no PS5. But yeah, if they can nail that price point, I think we might live in a world where Xbox is PC, Switch is your handheld option, and PlayStation for a little bit more money gets you your home console. And competition's dead, unfortunately. I think they all play in such different ballparks now that there is no direct competition. Like Nintendo give up on AAA top lifelike graphics a long time ago, and it served them no problem whatsoever. So why does PlayStation keep pushing these every granular molecule and detail and facial sweat and particle physics and ray tracers?
Because it sells millions of copies.
But do you think a lesser model would it doesn't damage the Switch that much for being inferior?
Yeah, but I think if you look at Nintendo's first-party lineup, they do suit a cartoonier aesthetic quite easier. Even Zelda, which you could go more realistic, it's flirted with all sorts of art styles over the years. Sony, with some of the stuff that we've loved over the years, do have that hyper realism, even in fantasy settings and stuff. I feel like they are better suited to keeping doing that. Otherwise, you get games that feel a bit lesser. Yeah. But
I do wonder if it's a generational thing, because again, we talk about the generation coming through now who've known they're huge successful, their only gaming thing is in the Fortnite world, where it's cell shaded kind of cartoon look, or it's Apex Legends, or it's Overwatch, and they're not pushing really the boundaries of visual fidelity. And
but you never know, their tastes may change as they get older. As happened to us, we're less likely to play multiplayer games because it's a lot harder as you get older to get people to play games regularly.
Yeah, I was going to go with just physical ability to play, but there's that as well.
We've all had changes in our taste in games over the years. I used to be massive into World of Warcraft for a period of my life, and then I don't think I'd go anywhere near an MMO nowadays.
too
It's
scary.
like you get these massive changes in what your tastes are.
Maybe when we're retired and we have time on our hands again,
Yeah.
we'll go back to it. But less of the hardware talk. Let's move the show on a little bit to our next star of the week. As I mentioned at the top of the show, Xbox had its yearly Xbox Indie Showcase, which is the aptly titled ID at Xbox Showcase, and we got a few game reveals. These are some indie titles, so they're never too crazy or too drastic, but we have got a couple of updates for some games. I don't want to go through them in chronological order because there are, with indies, they tend to be like lesser known, maybe less popular, maybe they just don't really hold that much value to them. I want to start probably with Darkwood 2, Richie. This was the one that initially came from... the reason it stood out for me anyway in the showcase was anyone who was with us with the Google Stadia days will remember that Darkwood was one of the Stadia Pro titles once upon a time. It's the kind of top-down horror survival game. Do you have a little bit more info on it, Richie, while I get the trailer up for folks?
So reading the blurb, take a look at the announcement. This is reading from IGN's YouTube channel. Take a look at the announcement trailer for Darkwood 2, a top-down horror game survival game. A top-down horror game survival game developed by Hooded Horse, Ice Pick Lodge, and Wizard Studios. Can you see why I tripped over that a bit?
Yeah.
Players will explore a dying sea to secure resources and establish a safe shelter while waiting for morning light to ease the danger. Darkwood 2 is coming soon to Xbox Game Pass, as well as PC via Steam and the Microsoft Store.
Yeah. So this one, the reason this one stood out for me is there's a few like little details, and obviously it's a sequel, Darkwood, one we've seen a little bit of. If you've ever played Dead Nation or the original Helldivers, it's got that kind of like top-down aesthetic. Anyone who played
like a twin-stick shooter.
Twin-stick shooter, and this one obviously has the unique twist that it's like Resident Evil style almost, like with the horror tinge to it. They have changed developers. I think it's Acid Wiz Studio, the ones who own the IP and made the first game. This one has actually been handed off to Ice Pick Lodge and Hooded Horse. So they didn't make the first game. They've just kind of licensed it out to another indie company to make the sequel. But yeah, when you look at the gameplay, it just reminds me of like Alien Nation, Dead Nation, where you're going to go from zone to zone, fight zombies, fight thingy, and you're kind of obstructed by like tree branches and going inside buildings. But it's quite an interesting premise, and I think from an indie game, I like it. I like the vibe.
Yeah, and it's the first game I think was 2014, so it's 11 years in the making. Shows how long it takes you to make games nowadays.
Yeah, there's not many of them at all.
Yeah.
Where would you like to jump to next, Richie, out of the list of games?
Don't Nod is bringing a sci-fi horror game to Game Pass called Aphelion.
Yeah, Aphelion. We saw this one at, I want to say it was the Xbox Showcase. Awesome Games Fest. It has been shown before, and this is the one that you and me, I think it was in during like the advert block where everything looked the same. And this one stood out, and I think it was because we suspected it was the Don't Nod team who did Banish's Ghosts of New Eden. So Don't Nod traditionally have, I think they have 3 studios on the go. They have one that does the story, narrative, like the Telltale game, like Life is Strange ones. We've got the team who does the more action-heavy, which is the Banish's Ghosts of New Eden team, which is, I think, these guys. And then they've got another team who focuses on something else, but I can't remember what that is. So you've kind of got like one studio kind of splitting itself up into 2 different ones. But this was the one that it just looked good. Like it showed you a really interesting story with the character. Have you got the blurb for us just to give us a bit more insight with the trailer?
Yeah. Stranded on a frozen planet, astronaut Ariane must brave rugged landscapes and shifting realities to escape her wounded partner Thomas. Watch the tense new Aphelion trailer for this upcoming action-packed sci-fi adventure that blends exploration, traversal, and tense stealth gameplay. Meet the characters in this latest Aphelion trailer, learn about the story, and see the deadly threats that await you. Aphelion will be available on PS5, PC, Xbox Series XS, Xbox PC, Xbox Play Anywhere, Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox Cloud in 2026. I feel some of this is AI written IGN, these blurbs.
It might quite possibly be.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at the trailer for this one again, I think it does just look like I thoroughly enjoyed Banish's Ghost New Eden. It was one of my surprises of the other year. And knowing Don't Nod and the way they've held Life is Strange, you know it's going to have good characters, good story, and fun gameplay. And I think it's an interesting setting. And I like it's one of my ones.
It reminds me a bit of It reminds me a bit of something like Delivers to Mars, or what it was called.
Delivers the Moon, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of style of gameplay. It looks actually quite good.
Yeah, it does. I'm not too keen on the name, Felion, but because it doesn't mean anything. I think that's the problem when especially indie titles.
It'll mean something in context, I bet you.
Oh yeah, it'll be like the name of the ship or the name of like the humanity's plan.
The planet. It'll be the planet that crashed on.
It's the 59th moon of a certain planet in whatever solar system. Yeah, I agree with that one. But yeah, it looks good. 2026. So I think some of these showcase updates they were very much that. They were just a gameplay deep dive or an update for titles that are coming back end of this year, start of next year. The next one I was excited about was Planet of Lana 2. That was, I think, one of the first games I played on my Series S when it came to Game Pass. Lovely little indie game. It just looks like more of the same. If you've played Inside or Limbo, it's kind of that like 2D puzzle mechanics. Maybe think Ori and the Will of the Wisps kind of style as well. Uses like beautiful environments, lots of colours. Tells like a whimsical story on like a different planet where robots are trying to invade, and you have a little character. I can't remember what his name was. It was like I want to say Mooey, but I'm not too sure. It was like a
Mooey.
cat.
Yeah,
Is it Mooey?
Lana and Mooey. Yeah,
Mooey. It was just cute and whimsical. Like I remember, I played at like 4 or 5 in the morning because it was just after we'd had our daughter, and it was me up to like 6 in the morning with her playing games. So I'll probably play this in a very delirious, tired state. But I remember the music was quite chill, relaxed, and I finished it completely. It was the first game I finished on Game Pass, I think. And I'm glad to see that they've continued the sequel, because I think indie titles, sometimes they do well, but then the indie team naturally moves on to something bigger, like a bigger project.
Or something completely different.
Yeah, like it does well, but I think because they're such a small studio, they're not beholden to like making a trilogy or anything like that. So it's actually nice, I think, when indie teams do go, you know what? Let's stick with this. We've got more stories to tell. We've got new ideas for puzzles that maybe couldn't make it into the first game. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of Planet of Lana. I think you and Tom checked it out on the channel.
Yeah, I think we did. You know what I think's like really nice about it is in a world where there's a lot of like dark, gritty fantasy or survival horror, post-apocalyptic stuff going on at the moment in terms of games. This game's very blue. It looks like a nice place.
Yeah, think like Echo of the Dolphin.
Yeah, it'd be a nice summer game.
yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if it came out in the spring, summertime anyway. But yeah, cute little cat character, which is always cute. And little simple puzzles to solve, left to right movement, drag a box here, pull on a rope here, shine a light here.
I felt, didn't you have to use Mooey to sit on some switches and stuff, do things, and you move, then you summon them back and do stuff like that?
Yeah, keeps your brain active, and it looks like they're going to take us to the next level with this one, so very interested to see it. And coming to Xbox Game Pass as well, so it's another title that we know is coming, because they said at Xbox, they say there was like 72 titles coming to Game Pass next year, more than ever before, so that's an interesting
sounds about right.
Where do you want to jump to next, Richie? What have we got?
Ooh, I think we should talk about Sledding Game.
Sledding Game.
Purely because I love the title of it.
Right. Tell us
it's
about
like
Sledding Game.
So Sledding Game. Hit the slopes and get a fresh look at Sledding Game in this latest trailer for the upcoming game about sledding and hanging out with friends. Learn about ragdoll physics gameplay, relaxing mini games, and more from Sledding Game ahead of its launch on PC, Xbox Series XS, and Xbox PC. It's also coming day one with Game Pass. To be honest, it's just purely the name that gets me. It's like it's such a like kind of throwback to like the NES, where you just have things like football or
tennis.
Golf.
Just tennis.
It's Sledding Game.
Yeah.
It's a party game where you sled down mountains with ragdoll physics, crazy stuff happening. It looks fun.
I think Gang
It's
Beasts
not going to be. It's not going to be a good game, but it's going to be a fun game.
Not Gang Beasts.
You can even stop off for a hot cocoa, maybe go fishing.
Yeah, it's not Gang Beasts.
Fishing gets in everything.
Fall Guys meets like SSS Tricky or Cool Borders or something like that. It looks like there's loads of mini games to do outside of sledding as well. You can play other things. Grab a hot chocolate.
In all honesty, I think they should, if they could, take another year or two, really polish it, expand on what they're doing, and I think there could be an actual something that is a bit more than what's unfortunately probably going to be shovelware in there. Because it looks like there's fun to be had, but it feels like the game's not going to have any kind of legs.
I think it can go either way, where it's going to have enough like whimsical jank that it's going to be quite endearing, and it's going to be almost like become a meme type game where people stream it and play it because of how daft and simple it is.
I don't feel the characters are going to be iconic enough from when you see the stuff. They do just kind of look a bit generic. It's stuff like that I feel like they could probably do with a bit more time to really get it pop. Because if you think of Fall Guys, the designs jumps out at you straight away.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think there's fun to be had in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. Other ones, probably only one I really want touched on. We did mention Gang Beasts and Fall Guys there. They have another game coming called Task Time, which is coming in 2026. Task Time seemingly, after the deep dive, it's an upcoming game show-inspired competitive party game where 8 friends dive headfirst into 6 rounds of unpredictable tasks and physics-fueled chaos. So again, think Gang Beasts, Fall Guys, to finish top of the leaderboard. But the difference with this one is it's first person. So it seems like it's like a Jackbox party from those devs, which...
I'm getting some slight Among Us vibes, but first person... without probably maybe not with like the murder mystery slint to it.
Yeah, everyone seems to be a colourful shape dropped into a fun, colourful playground with a timer and some kind of task to complete. And it says there's leaderboards. So between Gang Beasts and Fall Guys, I think they've definitely got the sauce to make something fun and engaging. Similar to the sledding one for you, though, I think if it misses its launch window and doesn't capture its audience, I think this one could just fizzle out and... die.
It has the potential to be a bit of a cult streamer success. Or if it doesn't have that kind of fun engagement and you're not getting the streamers who get day one to see what it's about, having them kind of big reaction moments and seeing good numbers in the streams, I think it's dead in the water. Yeah,
it's got definitely a task like everyone use a selfie stick. Everyone play a classic 90s handheld device. And you have to kind of run around the world and grab something, do something, push something. It's one of those things where I don't think it's for us, but I do think if it gets that zeitgeist, I could see a bunch of like 12-year-olds going, have you seen this daft game? Let's all jump on tonight. It's free on Game Pass. We don't have to ask our parents to buy it. And they just run around being idiots together and having, like you would in the playground, play daft games, set people on fire, spray paint on each other, like do all like the daft simple things. And yeah, I could see it... could see it going well. The last one I probably want to look at for this particular segment, Richie, because it was just an indie showcase. Yeah. Similar to your sledging game, Egging On. This game is literally about a hard-boiled egg. Face the challenge of being a real fragile, real-life egg. Escape the henhouse, jump and roll, and climb your way through a farm, shop, a factory, and other perilous environments with some determination just to reach your freedom. Egging On is coming to Game Pass, PlayStation, Steam, November this year. So this is one of the ones where it was like quite a recent update. It's coming out next week. But it's kind of like Squirrel with a Gun and Untitled Goose Game. It's got that kind of vibe where it's like, you're an egg. Life is bread. That's probably the nearest real life example I can think of. Like, yeah, you're a slice of bread. You are an egg.
I am bread.
I am bread. I am egg.
Yeah.
Get around the world. Graphically, it actually looks better than the 3 games we just spoke about.
It does, yeah.
But you're an egg.
There's some up close shots to some farm animals that don't look great, admittedly. But in general, I think it looks pretty decent. But you know what? It's going to be quite hard. Because eggs aren't perfectly, hard boiled. Eggs aren't perfectly round, so I feel it's going to like play awkwardly a bit.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
the rugby ball situation where if you drop a ball, you have no idea what way it's going to bounce.
Yeah,
you're going to get some of that going on, that chaos.
Yeah, I do like it. If you think about how many people have just really enjoyed the Baby Steps game that just came out, I think for streamers, the humour is fucking up. And dropping, cracking yourself, splitting yourself open, falling into a frying pan by accident, being eaten by another chicken, like all those fragile things that could come with being an egg. I think it'd be a good laugh.
Yeah.
Any other ones you really want to pick out? A lot of them are like updates. We got updates for like the Invincibles 3v3 game, DayZ Badlands DLC, Vampire Survivors is getting more stuff. 33 Mortals has got some update DLC, but aside from that...
Mouse PI for Hire got a bit of a documentary, but I don't really want to go into it at this point.
Well, they announced a delay earlier this week as well, so it was one of them awkward ones where they announced some bad news and then they had a slot at a showcase, which was like, oh, now you've shown off more after the delay. But yeah, Mouse PI is one of them where I think it'll get the viral trend just because it's visuals.
You know what? I think it's quite a nice varied showcase, actually. Everything seems to have different art styles, different styles of gameplay. Some of them he plays an egg, some of them he goes sledding. Some of them are literally could be a AAA game in terms of Aphelion, was it?
Yeah.
See, that's the problem with that game. I'm struggling to remember the name of the title when I've just been talking about it.
Yeah, Aphelion reminded me of, and again, you won't remember the title, but there's a game we watched at an Xbox showcase or a Jeff Keighley event a few years ago that looked really good. It looked a bit like Returnal, but without the fast frenetic stuff where it was a woman in a spacesuit. She was looking for, I think, her crew members going from planet to planet, and visually it looked stunning. And then it came out, we missed the launch because they didn't really promote it because they were an indie company. And then now I've completely forgot the name of the game. Like, it's just gone. It's a game that I looked at, thought it looks quite good. I'm interested in playing that. And then it's just done. And I can't even remember. I don't think it ever got a physical release. I think it was just digital only. Like, let me know in the comments below if you remember the one I'm talking about. It's a mixture between, like, Dead Space, Returnal, probably Banishes of New Eden type game. Like, it was a third-person game. And I think both of you, me and you, went, ooh, this looks fantastic. And then, yeah, it's gone. So it's just wild to think as an indie game, if you don't get that push behind you, it can be very, very interesting. But yeah, we got 12 titles announced overall, coming to Game Pass between the showcase, and a couple of other things as well in between. But yeah, let us know in the comments below what your favourite one is as we move on to our next story of the week, Richie, which is Battlefield. This is the one that caught me out. Did you know there was a Battlefield Battle Royale coming out now?
I think we've talked about them getting a Battle Royale, but I don't think it was announced that. I don't think it was expected to be this close to launch.
Yeah, I think that's my thing. I know Battlefield was coming, and I knew they'd have, because they had Battlefield, was it Firewall or something it was called, on 2042, which came and went and no one really cared about it. Or was Firewall the freestanding one that came out when PUBG was at its height, and they tried to compete, and it just kind of ironically crashed and burned?
I vaguely recall covering, was it getting meant to be in the launch but then got delayed away from the launch? Yeah. Which is why I think it's a bit surprising that it's now basically here.
Yeah, it's came, so Battlefield RedSec, to give it its official name, is the new free-to-play Battle Royale which launched this week. RedSec is the Battlefield's first ever free-to-play Battle Royale game, so I guess it's like a standalone element. If you own the game already, Battlefield 6, it comes as a part of an update patch, a 32-gig patch or something. But it's not just a Battle Royale. This experience includes Gauntlet, a round-based elimination mode that samples from the franchise's rich multiplayer history, as well as RedSec's Portal creations, an ever-evolving sandbox for community developers. However, not only with RedSec, it's going to include the Battle Royale element. It's also got playlists and things from other parts of Battlefield, such as the class. You've got Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon, which is why Battlefield's doing so well. But in with Season 1 also comes your microtransactions and some of your skins, which has irked a couple of people. So it seems like they've timed it together quite well. It plays quite well, apparently, as well. It's basically just a Battle Royale, but you've got the Wall of Fire, which closes in. Destructible environments, which I've heard a lot of praise online still, where in a Battle Royale, you know, when people would traditionally just hide behind stuff and wait out the circle. You can't really do that when people are blowing up the buildings and walls and everything destructible around you, so it kind of adds another element of threat, and you can't just like kind of stealth it out until the final minute and hope you're in the circle.
Which was a viable tactic.
We did it on PUBG many, many times.
Yeah. Do you remember when I won the game of PUBG? That was awesome. That's on the channel somewhere.
We all did. We did it on Luna, Amazon Luna, on our first playthrough.
Yeah, I think I remember during that playthrough, though, I think for whatever reason, Luna's just shit the bed for me, I couldn't do anything. But I think there was one on Stadia. Where I think I got the last kill. I was like, yes, I can do Battle Royale.
Yeah, that was really good. So alongside that, Season 1 update is here with the Battle Royale in tow. Many people have had a good time with the updates, but as I said, a few are a bit dejected by the influx of microtransactions, relating specifically, which we knew, Richie, to colourful cosmetics, weekly Battle Pass challenges, which can push players towards the Battle Morale mode that they might not be interested in. So it seems like 6, which has had fairly smooth launch so far, it's dipping back into the traditional EA practices a little bit. Too much for comfort, I think.
GameSpot have in the gallery have images of all the Season 1 skins, and I'm flicking through them, and I'm not seeing anything overly egregious, to be honest. There's a few like white sniper rifles. There's a carrying one where it is a bit going on there, but it doesn't look like completely overdone. It looks like a bored soldier could have potentially painted it if he was a bit talented. I haven't seen anything that jumped out and went, oh God, no, that's just completely insane. I think it's the cross-pollination. I think if you look at some of the Reddit threads, there's a few where people are just saying, like, because it's funneling them towards the Battle Royale. There's one in particular where it's like their daily challenges are now saying, like, complete a mission in Battle Royale, complete a mission in Gauntlet, deal damage in a Battle Royale, redeploy a squad mate. And there's a guy saying, specifically on Reddit, saying, look, if I wanted to play a Battle Royale, I wouldn't have bought Battlefield. Take the challenges out of the regular game and let me just play as normal. So it seems like there's maybe a bit of cross-pollination for some people. Yeah, my issue is I don't think there should be a Battle Pass this close to launch for a paid game.
Yeah, it's been like a month, hasn't it?
It's been less than a month, and now you're already starting to charge people again. I feel like you should give it a couple of months before you can bring in a Battle Pass, but have it have the Season 1 for free. Just Season 1 for free for everyone who buys the game, because people have just dropped a lot of money in this game.
Yeah.
Now, so it feels a bit like you're asking more when it's a bit too early to do that. So this is, to be honest, this is probably where a lot of people are getting a bit irked by it. Yeah. The microtransactions. If in 6 months' time they brought in the microtransactions, no one's batting an eye. 3 months' time, there would be a bit of people complaining, but a lot of people will have accepted it. Because then if you're playing Battlefield every night for 3 months, you're probably in a position where you go, you know what, I don't mind dropping a couple of quid here and there.
Yeah, it's kind of, you can't do wrong for doing right, really, can you? If you brought it out too late, people would say, why wasn't this included in the main game? If you brought it out too early, people say, why wasn't it included in the main game?
Well, that's why you just market it properly. You just go, we're doing a Battle Pass. Season 1's free for everyone who bought the game. Starting Season 2 will be paid, John.
Yeah. And then
you just give people the right expectations right from the gate.
Yeah, and then you've also got that reality where Call of Duty's going to rear its head in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. So you could have saved it for that. Although I'm sure they have stuff ready to go to combat it. I can't imagine those devs sit there going, yeah, our biggest competitor, our biggest rival is due to launch their title. We need to do something to retain players. I'm sure they have like a emergency evac plan ready in the wings. In terms of RedSec, I just think it's baffling that like I don't think we knew about it as much as we probably should have done.
I'm sure we've talked about it.
Oh, I'm sure we have. We knew it was coming, but I think it was very... I mean, to be fair, EA have done quite well with stealth drops. Remember when Apex Legends just randomly showed up and it was out now?
Yeah.
It just took the world by storm. Maybe I think that's what they were going for with it. Like, let's not talk about it too much. Focus on the main game. And then be like, hey, everyone, hey, world, here's a free Battle Royale. And if you've already got Battlefield, you get extra perks. I'd be interested to check this one out, actually. If we have a slot for a stream, it's free. We haven't played Battlefield since 2042. And Call of Duty's on the horizon, but it's been a while since we played a Battle Royale. I've heard the firewall as well that goes around the ring that closes in. It's not like a Fortnite ring where you can get in it and you can kind of survive for a minute or two and top up your health and crawl to safety. It's a literal wall of like fire from an explosion, so you die quite quickly. But I just like the thought of being able to take down buildings. Like if you're being, like you play PUBG and there was always like a sniper on a hilltop and you couldn't quite get to them. Imagine being able to bring the hilltop down with an RPG or a tank or something and just like watch them fall to their own death.
Yeah, that is the appeal of Battlefield, to be fair, over Call of Duty.
Yeah, the destruction's cool. Interesting tidbit from Call of Duty. It's not the number one wishlisted game on Steam for the first time in its history.
Oh, what is?
I don't know what's first, but
right.
I heard on a IGN podcast this week saying that it's not number one, which is again, under the helm of Microsoft, making some interesting decisions.
I'm just trying to see what it is.
We'll have to see. Watch it be actual Call of Duty now, since that show was recorded. It's actually.
I'm seeing Subnautica 2. I've just on Steam DB. Then Deadlock, Light No Fire, Kingmaker, Slay the Spire 2, then Resident Evil Requiem. I'm not even seeing Call of Duty. Is Call of Duty not coming to Steam because of Microsoft?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It might be on. I don't even know. I can't remember what it was. Wish list, whatever the wish list. It might be PlayStation wish list. It might be Xbox wish list. I'm not sure what. But one of them, where it's traditionally always number one. Being number one's tough, Richie. And getting to the top is even tougher, even if you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation like Amazon. And I feel like this is a bit of a typical cloud gaming pivot here, because the other week we kind of semi-praised Amazon Luna. They're doing a little bit of a repackage. I checked it out for the first time. I played it. We put a video up on the channel. It's getting a lot of engagement. There's lots of comments from people asking questions. So there's actively people out there playing Amazon Luna now, asking for it. And inevitably that's going to happen. I got an email this week from Amazon informing me that as a Prime customer, I now get Luna games included. So I've had communications pushing me towards the platform. And we, I think, delved into 2 weeks ago a little bit of detail about what they need to do with the games, what more could they do for the platform. And then Variety reports this week, sweeping layoffs began throughout the e-commerce giant Amazon this Tuesday, with significant changes to its video game business. The move comes on the heel of Amazon launching the new game, King of Meat, as well as a company unveiled its new revamped cloud gaming platform, Luna, and outlined plans to continue internal development on big AAA budget titles, including massive multiplayer online games. An undisclosed number of cuts have been made at Amazon Game Studios business, as first reported by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier and confirmed by Variety as part of the overall elimination of 14,000 corporate workers at Amazon this week. The studio, Twitch and games boss Steve Boom says that while layoffs are happening in connection with the overall company cuts, these reductions also indicate a larger strategy shift within the games business, which consists of Amazon Game Studios, Amazon Luna, and other projects. And I'll quote again, over the last several months, we've been evaluating our go-forward plans specifically through the lens of our mission to deliver the very best gaming experience to customers while leaning into the things that Amazon does best. We believe that this is how we will have an impact with customers that fits the scale of Amazon. Last week's launch of the all-new Luna is a great example, and it leans into both streaming, entertainment, and delivering value for Prime members, two tenets that are always top of our mind in our group. Luna launched with a great catalogue of social party games, AAA blockbusters, and we have a lot more from Jeff's team to come on that front. It's still day one. So it almost sounds like they've given Amazon Luna like a hard reset. They're not cancelling it, but it's...
Yeah.
Agendas and priorities are maybe tweaked. Boom then goes on to say, we've taken a critical look at the evolving dynamics of the games industry and competitive landscape. While we're proud of our success in first-party AAA development and publishing, we've made the difficult decision to halt a significant amount of our first-party development work, specifically around MMOs within the Amazon Game Studios family, including role reductions at our studios in Irving and San Diego, as well as our central publishing team. And then they go on to basically say they're continuing to work with Crystal Dynamics on the Tomb Raider title. They've got other ones behind the new Snoop Dogg game, which I don't know why they're pushing so much. It's on the trailers and it's on the party stuff. I saw another trailer, I was like, no one cares about a party game with Snoop Dogg. Sorry, Amazon, but your priorities are wrong. Then they go on to talk about AI and how the relaunch with Hogwarts Legacy, Indiana Jones game night, which they're focusing on, is great. They're doing that kind of political thing where they're trying to, I guess, with these massive layoffs by saying oh, look how good it is though. But there's key bits of stuff on there.
14,000 people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Not just in the gaming division. That is apparently across Amazon in general. But when you hear them sort of numbers, my immediate thought, I've said this in the podcast before, that's bad business planning. That's bad business management. If you have to lay off that many people in one go, you have managed your business poorly. Yeah. End of story for me. Is you're always going to be in big business when things get slightly restructured. Sometimes jobs are going to get consolidated. There's always going to be layoffs. They're always going to exist in big business.
Yep.
14,000. That if I was a shareholder in Amazon and I heard you're sacking 14,000 people, I want to sit down with Jeff Bezos and see what the fuck's going on.
Yeah,
why have we been paying 14,000 people that we apparently didn't need, or why are we suddenly getting rid of them?
Yeah,
either way, there's a problem.
You'd be worried about like the work that those 14,000 people did. Do we not need that work to be done anymore?
Yeah,
like surely the man hours that they were putting in contributed towards something, and if they're gone, what have we lost? What have we dropped? What have we ditched? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there has to be some consequence.
Like on the game, going back to the gaming side, it seems like because Amazon games did seem to have a bit of a focus on MMOs, which I always thought was a bit of a strange one as a relative new player, considering how MMOs have kind of been out of fashion for the last 10, 15 years. They still exist. There's still ones that have gone very strong. Final Fantasy 13 goes really strong. World of Warcraft will never ever die, seemingly. Destiny 2 still ticking over.
Yeah.
There's still MMOs out there. But it feels like the main online gaming landscape moved more from MMOs to more games as a servicey kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In what we think of now, things like your battle royales, your extraction shooters.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, where they're going next.
Yeah, there's an interesting, I think the quote in there, which is probably the hardest pill to swallow, is we've also taken a critical look at the evolving dynamics of the game industry in the competitive landscape. And that rings very Google Stadia to me of like, oh shit, we're 4 years in. We didn't realize it was going to be this expensive. We didn't realize we wouldn't have cracked it at the first attempt. And even though again, time and time again, the tech is there, the tech works, but similar to how all the conversation we just had around Xbox, you need the reason to pull people over. And like, luckily for Luna, they don't need to worry about selling the hardware. They're just purely on a subscription front. But with them blending it in with Prime, do you think this is just a last-ditch attempt to maybe keep it alive? Because it's a great perk for Prime. But
I don't know. It depends. I think ultimately it comes down to money. How much is Luna costing Amazon? Because if it's basically relatively not costing a huge amount because the server's there anyway, and they're going to be using the servers anyway, people are getting it largely through Prime, so they're seeing it more as a benefit, another benefit to boost their Prime numbers. Maybe that's where Luna differs from Stadia, where Stadia was completely standalone in the Google ecosystem. So it basically had to entirely pave its own way.
yeah,
Luna can piggyback off Prime. So I don't know, mate. And it feels like if they were going to kill it, they would have probably killed it by now.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of their options to do it. Or like this, basically the same timeline as Stadia reached to. But I think you're right in saying Amazon's like just the logistics of Amazon. I think functions very different to Google. I think Google behind the scenes seemingly had more things going for them, but then I think over time, when you compare it to like Prime and their TV slate, I think Amazon in general just is more in the entertainment business already. Like, yes, Google has YouTube, which is the biggest thing on the planet, but in terms of just like different mediums like logistics, delivery, physical logistics, entertainment with their Prime and their TV, it's like if Google or Netflix, for example, it could have worked out a little bit different. They would have had IP to lean on. They would have had like creative minds already working there. Whereas we thought when we dissected Stadia and Google, it was like the internal push for like promotions and launching a project, then moving on, and it just didn't seem to work very well. But credit where credit's due. Remember, Amazon have put out games themselves.
I think this could go. I think this might go down the more Netflix games model.
Yeah.
Where it's more about the casual games, integrations of shows and stuff they have, rather than a hardcore dedicated gaming system or gaming like platform, which what Stadia was trying to be. Mm-hmm. The focus on the party games. Snoop Dogg apparently is a thing in party games. They've always had Jackbox in there. Yeah. So
still got its own channel.
The Jackbox style of games. They've already got integration into most smart TVs nowadays. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's where they see the future for Amazon games as well as Luna in that area. So they're not competing head-to-head with Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo. They are just
there
doing their own thing. So if you are a very casual gamer, you have people around occasionally, crack up a few bottles of wine and play something like a Jackbox game, Luna's the best place to play it.
Seemingly.
And you can play on your phone, you get the kids in a bit with things like Fortnite, and Hogwarts Legacy is generally a really good game.
Yeah. And
so you're going to have some gems in there.
Yeah. And credit where credit's due as well. Like when I watch Amazon or Netflix or YouTube or anything on my smart stick I've got in the living room, quite often there's an Amazon Luna promotion on the main homepage. Like I've seen Jedi Fallen Order be promoted recently. I saw Indiana Jones promoted last week. So it's front and center on my homepage, which we always criticize Google for saying they just didn't market it at all. So layoffs aside, it sucks. Is it stripping the games team out? They've said they're not going to lean that heavily into some of the things. It's one of them, just time will tell, won't it? Who knows? If you want your Lunar updates, though, go check out the channel. The Lunar update video, surprisingly enough, Richie, 4,500 views.
Nice.
So people...
It's quite a lot for us.
Very much so. Just for me talking shit about what games are coming on each package as far as the updates. Apparently a video that says new games and features for Prime members is a catchy enough title to get people in the door. So go check that out if you've not done so already. But hopefully we see it survive and move on to other things. Because rumoured a part of all that is they're getting rid of a Lord of the Rings game, Richie, which I'm crying out for. It's been too long.
It's an MMO, though.
Yeah, I wasn't going to play it. But still,
exactly.
the Embracer need to do something.
Which is ultimately probably the problem, where they'll probably... It feels like they're operating 15, 20 years ago in terms of what the trends are chasing.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, Lord of the Rings MMO absolutely could find a place. But I feel like Lord of the Rings is at a fairly low point in fandom. Rings of Power didn't land the way Amazon were hoping to, while I personally really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Season 2 more so.
It's not elevated Lord of the Rings back to the forefront of pop culture.
No.
So is an MMO, which is a genre game that is probably is always very difficult, even if you have the best game ever to launch.
Yeah.
Is that the way to do it? Or maybe do you scrap the MMO bit, take a lot of the assets and designs that you've made, convert it into a narrative single-player experience, and then maybe sell 1 billion copies?
You know
mainly
what?
To me and you.
The best thing for me right now is a really quick win for Warner Brothers as well and the franchise in general. Do what they did with the Skywalker saga. Do the Middle-earth saga. Put the Lord of the Rings Lego, the Hobbit Lego together in one collection. Make it a little bit different in terms of the gameplay. Make it modernize it a little bit, similar to what the upcoming Batman Lego game looks like, where it looks like Arkham City combat. Give me Shadow of War combat, but with Lego. Give me an open world Lego Middle Earth to go and explore. And I think that will do some solid numbers. And again, I still begrudge them. They never gave us the third Hobbit movie in Lego form. They just cut the cord. The DLC never came out.
And this is your chance to fix it. And you know what you do? You don't make the Hobbit part of the game 3 games. You make it one.
One game.
That's all it should be. It's one game. Then you've got the Lord of the Rings. You got the Fellowship. There's another game. You got 2 Towers, and you got Return of the King, and then you bow out. Yeah. So it's like 4 games in one.
Yeah. Perfect. Writes itself.
Yeah.
Stop trying to do all these MMO crazy stuff. Just give us the movies in playable form, like the EA games of old. Speaking of games of old, though, we've got some new titles coming to PlayStation Plus for November. They've been revealed as Stray, which is a lovely little quaint game I think you and me have a really good soft spot for.
Yeah, really good game.
It's the cat game, as people know it. It's a third-person cat game. You go through neon-lit cities in the decaying cyber city, murky environments, meet some robot people, solve some puzzles, but it's just, fun all around. EA Sports World Rally Championship 24, so you're a bit out of date with that one, but it's there for the 2024 season, career mode and whatnot. Tab's Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, which had a really good push on PC, where you could basically just drop in all sorts of characters, like 1,000 archers versus 1,000 foot soldiers, and see who would win. Maybe throw an elephant or a giant skeleton in there, see who would win. Fun. And okay month. I think a bit weak. I always think when you throw a sports game in there from that's a year out of date already. You're like, but actually, now I'm saying that out loud, wasn't Stray a PlayStation Plus launch game anyway? Like I'm sure we both had it because it was streamable on cloud as well. Because we did a cloud fest look.
Yeah, might have been. I can't remember whether it was a PlayStation Plus game or a discount or. It's in my library.
It's in mine as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there is a WRC 25 or 24 is the last game.
Well, it's something to do with Codemasters, isn't it? And the way they were bought out by EA, and then they kind of shut down some of the studios.
I vaguely recall did they just choose not to continue it after 24 was already in the dock, so they launched it.
Now I'm saying it out loud. Part of me thinks the rights got sold to the Embracer Group to do something with, specifically for World Rally Championship. But correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. Either way, Stray is the standout for me. If you've not played Stray before, it's probably a really just fun 3-hour chilling experience. Chilled experience, not chilling experience. That makes it sound spooky and horrified. If you want to have a fun bit of content that we've made on the channel, Richie, we did a speedrun race of each other. Both of us played it.
Yeah, I think that was a really fun bit of content to do. Like we do it's the entire game split screen, so it's value for money for you, considering it's free.
Yeah, 2-player split screen. PlayStation Plus monthly games. Last few news stories for the week. We've got Ark Raiders. Has launched across Steam, breaking records for the extraction shooter genre. So Ark Raiders was the one from Embark Studios that actually you and me were really impressed with when we looked at the gameplay. And I can't remember who makes it. We'd said at the time it looked... I think it came out with a trailer the same time as Concord did. And the same time we saw a couple of like 70s, 80s themed... spacey things. However, this one stood out specifically. But
Bandicoot make it.
Yeah, but I can't remember what they've played that. Both of us looked at it and went, that's why it looks so good. Because we've played one of their previous games, I'm sure. Either way, in the opening hour, it's attracted over 130,000 concurrent players itself, which is an impressive figure for a new IP. It beats out other Steam releases. There's the penny drop for Richie.
No, finish your point now.
It's set to launch fully on 15th of November, so this is still just like the early launch for people who've bought, I think, the deluxe edition or something. Previews are out now. It's simply put, it's a third-person extraction shooter. It's a factory that mass-produces tense moment by its own nature, according here. Intense anxiety, high stakes, devastating losses, rapturous victories, pulling back. It's a game of gradual self-refinement, both of your inventory resources, your character's abilities, and likewise what you're known for. So typical shooter stuff. Who was it with?
It's Embark, but was Embark founded by a bunch of ex-Battlefield, Star Wars Battlefront devs?
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds really right.
Because it might not be, but I remember looking at the movement and the animation. God, that reminds me of Battlefront.
People, history. I'm trying to look at the Wikipedia page, see what.
Ark Raiders was one I was actually initially really interested in, but when I realised there's going to be things like an extraction shooter and not a single player experience, I lost interest.
Yeah, that's it. So many of the founding members previously worked at EA/DICE. So they are former Star Wars Battlefront devs and Battlefield devs as well. So that's why I think visually and just the way it played is very much like if you looked at something from Bungie. You know, like the shooting just looks on point because they've got heritage there. Few other ones. Animal Crossing New Horizons springs back to life next year with a Switch 2 edition, which I think stands out more so because this was one of the biggest games on the planet, and then Nintendo, outside of the initial run of content, seemingly just dropped it and forgot about it. And we've not had anything since. There's been no other entries in the series. We've had other Zelda games come and go, Mario games, and then. Yeah,
Nintendo do DLC, but I don't think the 100 never feel like they're 100% into DLC. It feels like DLC is something they occasionally dabble with. So I don't feel like when Animal Crossing came out, they probably had a DLC roadmap where most games nowadays launch with a DLC roadmap and they've already started working on it.
Yeah.
Where it came out and it got bigger than anyone expected it to be because COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Animal Crossing, it's got a free update. It's come with some more content, including a Lego collaboration as well, which is always fun. Ever interested in playing this? I always think this is a game, like a cozy game that I think I would enjoy, but there'd be that itch at the back of my mind which would tell me you could be playing something more, I guess, I don't know, intense or story driven, or for like the type of game I am, I'd enjoy it, but like I'd probably play it with the wife and I'd be having fun. But you can't help but just be like, I'd rather be playing something that had more story or more action, or you know what I mean? The thing introduces Joy-Con controls and better graphics. Some of the comparisons are quite laughable in the trailer. They show you like Switch to Switch 2. It's like minimal. Again, the visual fidelity of the game anyway isn't really pushing the boundaries. But you do laugh when Nintendo go, look how much better it is, and it's not.
I'd say the biggest upgrade for Animal Crossing is probably the Switch 2 exclusive features, like the Game Talk stuff in there. Which, for a social game, that is actually a good feature.
Mouse controls, I think, it essentially makes it like a PC game now.
I'm not sure I'd use mouse controls in that game anyway, but I think it is probably things like the fact that you can basically have an in-game chat going with potentially webcam stuff. Yeah. So if this was like this in COVID, it would be even bigger than it is now, because you wouldn't have to use Zoom as well as playing Animal Crossing. You could just do it all in one.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
And that's where you end up having your business meetings in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Whitta did a whole podcast interviewing celebrities and other famous people in the game.
Literally, he was getting it. He got some big names in that as well.
What was it called?
In game, Animal Talking.
Animal Talking. So wild.
Didn't he do a Fall Guys one as well?
Yeah, he did Fall Guys, just random, but it seems to work. Animal Crossing New Horizons coming. I'm sure we'll see a new game maybe in the next 2 or 3 years. Surely they're not going to give it such a long cycle, but
it's Nintendo. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who really knows? And then the final one, I guess, of the week, or final 2 quick ones of the week. Hideo Kojima was approached by the Wachowskis, who are famous for The Matrix, and asked about him making a title for them. This is reports swelling that the Wachowski sisters, which it took me years to realise it was actually 2 sisters who made it. I just thought it was the Wachowski brothers for some reason.
There were ones.
What?
There were ones.
Were there?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So it's the same people?
Yes.
So 2 brothers are now sisters?
Yes.
Okay. That might make more sense in my head then, why I thought there were 2 guys, because they were.
So Larry is now Lana and Andy is now Lily. Right.
Wow. That's a twist. I thought they were just like other siblings or something. Like the brothers made one thing, the sisters made the other. So you got like an Ellen Elliot Page thing going on then. Creators of the Matrix series of films. Now I've just broken my Matrix in my head. Once approached Kojima, of course, of Metal Gear fame, about making a Matrix game. The original report said that they approached him after 1999, but were told no by an unspecified executive. Now, bear in mind, he'll have been at Konami at the time, and they were very controlling over Kojima's future and his input and other things. The news is Kojima clarified it on Twitter and said he had no idea such a conversation took place. If indeed it did, he was busy making Metal Gear Solid 2 at the time, he wrote. But had he known they wanted to make a Matrix game, perhaps something could have been done. And he wrote, I was surprised to see on social media that the sisters had offered me a Matrix game project back in 1999. In all these 26 years, no one ever told me about a conversation that had taken place. Now, The Matrix is kind of wild and crazy. The first movie is one of the best sci-fi movies ever made, in my opinion. Everything after that, it's fun and enjoyable, but it gets convoluted and a bit messy. Still fun, though. I really enjoyed Enter the Matrix, the game, with the bullet time slow motion. It was terrific.
But imagine how much better could it be with Hideo Kojima at the front.
Yeah,
the center of it.
Kojima actually writing the game.
I feel like he is. If I wanted to make a Matrix game, I feel like Kojima is probably the guy I would go to. I think there's echoes in his work in the Wachowskis with that
yeah.
convoluted stuff, the political tension stuff. Like, I think his writing lends itself nicely to the Matrix.
Yeah.
So I think them three would write so well together that there could be an amazing game out of this, and it could still happen. Why
not? Like, the Matrix isn't really doing any numbers in the cinema, and everyone went to see the latest one.
And Kojima is now head of his own studio, so he doesn't have a boss not telling him about conversations that probably should have been told about.
Yeah. But yeah, we've had the Matrix Online. I have entered the Matrix. That was my favourite one, where you played as like the two side characters who like interjected with the movie story from time to time. But the bullet time was so fun. That was the biggest thing for me. Slow-mo gun takedowns, so good.
I bet you it's crap now if you play it.
Well, you could run on the, you could run on the walls, do backflips. It was so fun. Then the Path of Neo came out later on, which I never played, but I don't think it was. I think our friend Lewis had it, and it wasn't as good. But yeah, you're right in saying some of the stuff, like when I think of the movies, remember when you get to like the sequel, there's what was he called, Merovingian or something, Merovinci, and he had this luscious apartment. He had, was it Monica Bellucci as his like sexy wife, and then he had the two ghost twins who could suddenly turn to ghosts and go through cars, and you're like, that's some Kojima level shit right there with all of that stuff going on, like very Psycho Mantis and crazy villains, and
again, I feel like you could give Kojima to write a story of a Neo that isn't the one that you follow in the movies.
Absolutely.
A different iteration of him, because he wasn't the first, was he?
I mean, that's the Matrix, isn't it? Like, if and when they come to rebooting the Matrix in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, after Keanu Reeves has passed away, whatever it may be, the theory of the Matrix is that it could just be you could tell a story all over again, and it just plays out slightly differently because it's the system rebooted, it's the simulation started again. So, yeah. Interesting, crazy stuff, but what a world that would have been. And I'm still here for it. Yeah. One thing I'm also here for, in a weird way, is Crash Bandicoot is coming to Netflix. Hide your Wumpa fruits, in fact, and reinforce your wooden crates, Richie, because Crash Bandicoot is set for an animated return via a new series debuting on Netflix. Wildbrain Studios, which is the team behind the very fun and very well-reviewed Sonic Prime series, is now making a Crash Bandicoot adaptation for the streaming giant. I'm not going to go into talking about Sonic Prime, but I do know a lot about Crash Bandicoot, and if you're coming for that, Sony seemingly wants to dabble in these sort of things. Well, they tried it with Ratchet & Clank a few years back with a movie, but I think video games kind of lend itself to it.
I think this works so well as a kids' TV show. That kind of monster of the week, you've got Cortex doing up to his shenanigans. Yep. Every week, Crash has to stop and think Ash Ketchum Team Rocket kind of vibes.
Yep, absolutely.
With the zany cast of characters that already exist.
Yep. I think it makes sense. You're right. I mean,
it works.
My daughter's currently watching Spider-Man and Friends, and every episode is basically like the Green Goblin, who isn't even that evil. He's just a bit pesky. Yeah. He steals stuff. He throws pumpkins at the hot dog guy on the street corner. And then basically they come in, save the day. It's a light bit of animation, but I think with...
Is this the one where you have like Spider-Man, is it Spin and Ghost instead of Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen?
Yeah, but it's basically Miles and Gwen. They're the two, but I guess for kids they give them like fun, wacky names
instead of calling... I get why, because Miles is Spider-Man, Gwen is Spider-Man, Peter's Spider-Man. You can't call them all Spider-Man.
Yeah. I get it. But yeah, I think you're right with Crash. I think you've got Coco there, who's the techie one with a laptop. You've got the two masks who are kind of the bosses in charge of, like, I guess they're like Zordon in Power Rangers. They're the big face that shows up and goes, Crash, this is your mission this week. Dr. Cortex has released a tiny tiger in some ancient ruins. Maybe include a bit of time travel so you can get around like they do in the games. Yeah. And then, I think he's got his catchphrases, his noises, and he's got his spin attacks like Sonic does.
You can just do every series loosely based off one of the games. Like the loose plot of the series based off one of the games. And then you've probably got, about 5, 6 seasons worth of content?
Yeah, I think so.
Half-hour episodes, maybe 20 episodes. Not every episode, because it's a kid's show, has to actually push the story in a major way. Mm-hmm. So you've got the environments. Just look at the levels. Like... It's all there. It's like... Yeah.
Again, it goes back to like what do you need for a TV show for kids? And I think you've got like the different biomes. You've got like the tropical place. You've got the snow place. You've got the ruins. You've just got everything that goes into what makes a video game platformer fun. Same goes for a TV show. I'd love to see it. I'd definitely let my daughter watch it. And I'd watch it with her. And then what we would do, which is I guess PlayStation and Sony's dream, is that we watch the show. She enjoys it. And then we, as a father-daughter duo, go play the game. She gets into the game. And
she gets hooked on Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
And next thing she's playing Intergalactic.
Yeah, or The Last of Us. And running away from clickers or whatever. But yeah, again, it's a colourful world. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of this stuff happening. We've seen a resurgence with Sonic, right? Sonic is arguably more famous for movies now than he is games.
Yeah, you can even pull in from things like Crash Team Racing and Crash Team Rumble, Crash Bash.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that. You're completely right. Anyone who
There's
watches
an episode there's a kart racing episode done. Like, what's it? We need a mid-season episode. Kart racing done.
Yeah, it can have its own. It's gonna have its own spin-off series if it does well.
Yeah.
My daughter also watches Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. The next one after that is Mickey's Mixed Up Adventures, where he just goes on adventures through time. And then guess what? It's Mickey's Roadster Races, where they all literally do a wacky races style race every week. And it ends in someone wins the race, but they all learn a valuable lesson from it. And they head to different parts of the world. So
there's stuff from Crash Bash as well. Like some of the mini games could be adapted into like fun set pieces. And maybe not even a full episode, just set pieces. Yeah. So you've got this library of content that could so easily be adaptable to kids' TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that's before you even have to start really thinking of your own unique content to go on top of it.
I'm with you.
Yep.
Let's do it.
So Netflix, we're available if you want to hire us.
Yeah.
Our rate's extortionate.
Yeah. One final question, though, before we wrap up on that one. Will he talk? Or is he just going to go, whoa?
Keep the noises. Don't make him talk.
Because I guess Sonic talks, doesn't he? Mario does in the new movie, I guess, at least. I feel like for longevity, he needs to be able to talk, even if it's like few. Because usually in the game, it's Coco who does all the talking, and Crash just raises his eyebrow and spins around.
Yeah.
But I do feel for sure your protagonist probably should be able to do more than make a couple of like, huh? No, like style noises.
I don't know, cause if it's a kids' TV show and there's plenty of characters talking around him.
Kids are smart though nowadays. They're not as dumb as we were.
Yeah, I don't think it's even an intelligence thing. I think you can communicate quite well non-verbally, while other people like Coco can be doing the exposition, and while Crash is just bouncing between boxes in the background.
Yeah,
he can be your main character, can be your comic relief.
Very true, Mr. Bean style. But Richie, that brings us to an end of this week's episode. And every week we like to end the show by looking back at this day in video game history. We're recording, as I said, on October 31st, Halloween. So you'd imagine that means there's some spooky games came out in yesteryear. What have we got?
Tomb Raider, 1996 on the Sega Saturn.
Scariest game ever. On the Saturn release, yep.
Twisted Metal 2, PlayStation, 29 years ago, same day as Tomb Raider.
Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine, 26 years ago on PC. Never got a console release. No horror games.
Persona 5 Royal came out 6 years ago. I never played the Royal version. I played through the original version twice.
Same.
But, yeah. What, Persona? You haven't played Persona.
No, I downloaded it.
Yeah,
I haven't played the other version either.
Yeah.
November 1st, we've got 007 The World Is Not Enough on N64, the follow-up to
Age of Mythology.
GoldenEye. Oh, actually, speaking of Crash Bandicoot, PS2, 24 years ago, Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex, which was the first PS2 game. And that's where the franchise tended to whittle out, and Naughty Dog didn't make them anymore. And they moved on. But
Age of Mythology, 23 years ago.
Oh, lovely one.
Super Mario Galaxy, 18 years ago. Another great one, coming back.
The Lord of the Rings War in the North, 14 years ago in 2011. Nice. Great game. Definitely one that I keep saying to my wife they need to make a movie out of. Like, forget the Hunt for Gollum. Give us the War in the North, the Witch King of Angmar versus the Rangers in the North and the Men of Numenor. cut it away from all the ties of the previous movies. You don't need any familiar faces showing up. The Witch King, you don't see his face anywhere, so he can look the same. He's just the dude in the robes with the crown on. Shows a cool castle, shows some cool fights, some elven shit. Maybe have Rivendell make a cameo, but just shows a new army in Numenor and have at it. And it could be just an epic movie about war. And then at the end of it, that's where the Shire grows from. Spoilers. In the north.
Same day actually as War in the North. Sonic Generations. Great Sonic game.
And Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. Imagine the trouble I had 14 years ago on that day, picking between the Lord of the Rings and Uncharted 3. Like, fuck me. That's a flip of a coin of two amazing franchises that are close to my heart there. Dear me. But not as many spooky ones. I thought around Halloween we would have got inundated with Resident Evil this and Resident Evil that in Silent Hill, but no, apparently not.
It's a good few days. November the 2nd's looking pretty strong as well.
Killzone.
Spyro 2.
Lord of the Rings: The Third Age.
Yeah.
WWE SmackDown versus Raw, the first one, the OG one, 21 years ago, before they started like numbering them and doing other things with it. Railroad Tycoon, that was really good. Good. I guess we're getting close to Christmas now, aren't we? Where it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Good
These
stuff.
are the last. I've just clicked on November the 3rd. I'm only going to say one of them because it's the first one I saw it. Then because we probably should wrap this up. But Crash Bandicoot Warped.
27 years, 1998.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's it though, folks, for this day in video games and this episode in Video Game Day history. That's been episode 116 of the GamerGuild Podcast and episode 487 of this show's incarnation overall. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've all had, as I said, a fantastic Halloween and you have a great bonfire night, November the 5th, however you want to blow up and celebrate fireworks. And we'll be back next time. My name's been Chris.
And I've been Richie.
And remember, everyone, play it wherever makes you the happiest. Goodbye.
Bye.